Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2018 Courage Award recipient, Vladimir Kara-Murza.
Thank you so much. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, I want to thank the Washington Oxi Day Foundation for this deeply humbling recognition, and above all, for their tireless efforts to honor the legacy of Oxi Day and to remind us all that moral courage can be stronger than military might, as the people of Greece showed in that dark early dawn hour in October of 1940, when the Axis ultimatum was answered with one short word: Oxi, no. There's nothing despotic regimes hate more than hearing this word, from other nations, but most especially from their own. They go to great lengths to create an illusion of popular support, to pretend that everyone is saying yes. For decades, the Soviet Union kept up the charade of so-called elections, when millions of people would be compelled to go through a meaningless ritual of walking to a polling station, picking up a ballot with one pre-approved name printed on it, and placing it in a box, so that the next morning the Soviet government could announce that it had the support of 99.9% of its citizens. It was not just the fake votes. In August of 1968, Soviet tanks rolled into Czechoslovakia to put down the Prague Spring. Official meetings were organized throughout the Soviet Union to demonstrate support for the invasion, or brotherly assistance, as it was called. Labor unions, professional associations, workers' collectives, academic institutes all voted in favor. Newspapers reported that support was unanimous. And then something happened. One afternoon that August, 7 people came out on Red Square in Moscow to stage a silent demonstration of protest. They were not there even for 5 minutes. They were attacked, arrested, and herded away almost immediately. But after what they did, no one could say that there was unanimous support among Soviet citizens for the invasion of Czechoslovakia. As the Prague newspaper Literárny Listy wrote, there are now at least 7 reasons for which we will never be able to hate the Russian people. Many years later, another regime in the Kremlin, very different from the Soviet one in many respects, but the same in its essence of duplicity and repression, sent troops to another foreign country. This time it was Ukraine. And this time, not 7, but tens of thousands of people took to the streets in protest. I will never forget that day in September of 2014, when Moscow's Boulevard Ring, all the way from Pushkin Square down to Sakharov Avenue, was filled with people, Russian people, who came out to say, no, not in my name. And when those of us in front had reached the end point, people were still lining up to join the rally at the beginning. Among the slogans of that march was the same one that had been brought to Red Square in August of 1968. За вашу и нашу свободу. For your freedom and ours. A few years ago, I interviewed one of the demonstrators of 1968 for a documentary about the Soviet dissident movement. She since passed away. Her name was Natalia Gobanevskaya. She was a poet, and she came to Red Square with her 3-month-old son. For her part in that demonstration, she got worse than prison. Years in a Soviet psychiatric institution with daily torture in the form of so-called treatment. I asked her why she did it, why she went, knowing for certain what the consequences would be. I'll never forget what she answered. She said, for me, going to that demonstration was a selfish act. I wanted to have a clean conscience. The award that I had the great honor of receiving tonight is presented for courage. I don't know if we are courageous. stubborn, maybe. That certainly is a job requirement in what we do. And perhaps a little selfish in the sense that Natalia Gobanevskaya meant it. But what we certainly are is unwilling to be complicit in the crimes of a regime that claims to speak on behalf of our country. We say no to its cruelty, to its corruption, to its constant lying. And we look forward to one day saying yes to a Russia that respects the rights and freedoms of its citizens and that plays a constructive role in international affairs. We know that day will come, and we will continue to do everything we can to try to bring that day a little bit closer. Thank you very much.